Alright, so what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J&L Garage. So today we're going to be getting into what's in this box. As you guys know already, I've made a video or two on it. I have a Volkswagen Passat TDI as a daily driver. And today, my Christmas gift finally came in. And pretty much it's a cold air intake from Rawtek Performance. Took a little while for it to get down here because they are based out of Canada, and they also were really backed up from Christmas orders. However, it did get down here just an hour or two ago. So, without further ado, I'm going to bust into this box and we'll see what all's inside. Alright, so first things first, lots of paper. Typical little brochure there. Like the AEM filter. And then there should be some clamps, some couplers, and then the actual metal intake itself is just going to be wrapped up in here. It's a long boy. Alright, yeah, so there we go. Get this out of here. So it's fairly large in diameter. I'm not too mad about that at all. I feel like this is obviously the first ever product I've bought from Rawtek. But from what I see on all the reviews and all the specifications and descriptions and the way they talk about their products, they seem to really care about quality a whole lot. So hopefully the same thing goes for here. But I guess we are ready to start digging into the Passat and getting the old intake off. So let's get out here and pop the hood and do a little comparing. So the main reason I'm wanting to do the cold air intake is mainly because it was the cheapest item on Rawtek's list that I could get for Christmas, pretty much. Their exhaust kits and their Malone actually does all their tuning and stuff, but it's like super expensive because there's not a whole lot of people making parts for this car. But anyways, the main reason is because the car is not warm right now. Alright, see if I can get this to focus. But right here is my air intake temperature. Now this is measured on the intake manifold after the turbo. So obviously it is still going to heat up a lot. Now the car is not warm right now. As you can see, there's the coolant, and then I've got a coolant reading on here as well. But once everything gets heat soaked, usually on a day like this, it's currently 66 degrees outside. At 75 to 80 miles an hour down like a highway or an interstate, I'm pushing like 220 to 260 degrees intake temperature. And that is like really, really high, I think. Now it is a turbo car and everything, so, and it is a diesel, but I feel like that's a pretty high temperature for the intake manifold. Now I know once I get the EGR delete and everything like that, that's going to make a huge difference as far as like heat soaking and the holding of the heat back there in the back, especially on the turbo. Let's get this off first. Yeah, okay, you can really hear that rattle now. So I'm not going to explain to you the intake. You'll be able to see that once it's on, but pretty much you got your turbo and everything back here, and then this huge canister back here for the downpipe and everything else. And that just holds heat really, really bad. So intake manifolds right here. This is where my intake air temperature is actually being read off of. It's not being read through the air box. So hopefully this will help draw some cooler air into the turbo and keep my intake temps down, especially once I get the tune and I get the delete for everything. But I do want to give you guys like a sound for before and after. So that's the main reason I cranked it up. So here we go. Usually it doesn't start spooling until about 2,000. Alright, so hopefully you can hear that pretty decently well in the video. But I have rambled long enough and talked about it enough. So first things first, I've got to pop this cover off, get the filter out, and there's like 9 billion Torx 15 screws to take that out. So I'm going to get that out first, and then I will update you guys on how to get the rest out. Alright, so going by the instructions so far, I've gotten the top intake with the MAF sensor undone, as long as with the filter and a couple of the plenum pieces that comes from right here, right? Now, some of these pieces are a little different than what's on Rawtek's instructions. However, it's still going to fit the same. Apparently, Volkswagen has just changed up their intake plenum design since then. But from what I can tell, it's all still gonna bolt up and mount the exact same. So really no biggie on that. Next things next in the instructions is gonna be getting the entirety of this box out. And also, I also just realized that another reason why my intake temps come up so high, I've never had this cover off, by the way. There's a pipe literally going straight to the exhaust manifold that just catches rising heat and throws it into the air intake box, I'm pretty sure. So that's just awesome. But whatever. We're getting rid of pretty much all this now. So that way in the future, this isn't a restriction point. We have a nice free-flowing intake to help that tune really open this car up a little bit. Because, sad as it is to say, this car is a little bit on the boring side to drive. It gets great fuel mileage. It does what it's supposed to very, very well. However, besides that, it's a little stale. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to get the rest of this out and keep going with the instructions. Alright, so just like that, that's out. That thing was super easy to take out. It had one Allen head bolt here, and then there's just these 2 rubber mounts, and then this stupid little sleeve that's all held onto that. The next thing I'm going to work on that's not in the instructions as well is this little like fresh air duct, which is surprisingly going directly where the intake is going to be at. Right down in here behind the fog light is where the actual filter and everything's going to mount. So I guess I've got to get this out before I can do anything with that. So I'm going to get that out, and then I believe we're going to actually start the installation process and everything on it. So be right back. Okay, so it has gotten a little dark on me. Sorry, I'm holding the camera wrong here. But it has taken me about 40 minutes, a jack, taking apart pretty much the whole under tray of my car in order to get this one freaking box out. because it was bolted up under this frame rail down there where the new filter is going to be. But now all the taking off and all the disassembly portion is done. If you have a 2015 CR150 TDI, which is this newer style engine or whatever, apparently they all come with that little bitty useless freaking canister. I'm pretty sure this is going to be to like maybe capture water or moisture or something. But to start with, I thought that maybe this was like a fresh air plenum in itself, to draw some cooler air from down behind the fog light, much like the cold air intake's going to do. And that maybe Volkswagen learned some stuff, but it's not. It's useless. It's just added plastic for no reason. So anyways, enough rambling and venting. I'm gonna get to moving on with the process here before it gets so dark you guys can't see, and then I'll update you guys on some big improvements and such. Alright, so I'm moving along very, very quickly without a whole lot of shots now because it is starting to get dark outside. So I am really attempting to get this done fairly quickly. The only thing that I have left now is to put the filter on. It's all mounted up, bolted in. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. You can see the bolt right there holding it on. That's the only bolt that holds this thing on, and then it's just hose clamped here. And it's got about the same movement as the full box did. So I'm fairly surprised by that. However, I'm not gonna bullshit around too much here. I'm fixing to go on ahead and knock it out, throw this filter on, get everything buttoned back up, get it back on the ground, and then the next shot that you guys will see will be it all put back together and running, hopefully. Alright, so I've gotten everything cleaned up. I've also put my flashlight up, so cold air intake is in, got the engine cover back on, and this is the first startup. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, no difference from idle. That's okay with me. Fine with that. Main difference here is this. Oh, okay. Alright, let me see if you guys can hear that a little better. Oh, that's awesome. Heck yeah. So that's pretty much what Rawtek promised as far as sound goes. So I am very happy about that. I'm actually gonna leave it running. I'm gonna do a couple drives myself. But first, I would really like to set the camera up somewhere for you guys to hear from up front here. See if we can makeshift something up. Dang, I'd really like for you guys to just be like sitting right here. Okay, I need to get those. Let me see if I can, I may just have to film the sky or something for you guys. But that way you can hear. Those noises are very satisfying though. I'm very happy about that. Alright, so I know you guys can probably barely hear me right now. Maybe you won't rattle off into the engine bay. Do one more ring. Alright guys, so that's pretty much gonna about wrap it up for this video. Like I said, I'm gonna do a couple more drives, and then whenever the whenever my exhaust kit and my tune comes in for this thing later down the road, I'll give you guys an update on what I think about the cold air intake over a long course of time. But yeah, I'm just gonna just go drive it for a little bit and listen to these turbo noises a little bit more. Super pleased with it so far. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning back in with us, and as always, have a good one.